told us that domain names are the address for your website, while hosts is the house. I called it the land in the sense that, okay, your home address now, that is your domain name. Meanwhile, your land, the land on which your house is built, where you have your room, where you have all the different places, that's the host company. Okay, so domain names are unique addresses where your website can be accessed online, e.g. www.example.com. Now, all the links you sent to the group, they are all um, domain names. So when we talk about domain names, we also have it in different way. We have what we call primary domain name, secondary domain name, and tertiary domain name. That's not part of the slide. I thought I added it. Now, when you talk about primary domain name, this is a primary domain name, www.example.com. Now, if we look at most of the links you sent to the group, you see something like taiwo.wix.com. That is a secondary level domain name. So we have the primary level, we have secondary level domains. So the secondary level domains means that there's a name before the main name. You get it now. Then we have the tertiary one too, which is like ade.bola.johnson.com. So why is that important? It's important because there are instances where you have a website, jaspervisitors.com, but you still need like one or two other websites, but you want to relate them with jaspervisitors.com. So you might have class.jaspervisitors.com. Maybe what we do there is that we just hold classes on that website. You might have product.jaspervisitors.com. That means you have dedicated that particular one to products. So when we have that kind of thing, we are having multi-level, maybe secondary domain, level domain or tertiary domain level. Okay. So that aside, when you want to choose your domain name, it's actually very important that you bear this in mind that these are the advantages of choosing the right domain name. Your brand identity, it's very important. Domain should be something easy to remember. Okay? And aside from that, it should be something that when people are searching for what is related to your industry, it should come up. Well, for us at Jasper Digitals, even from the development of the name, we decided to go for something very unique. After lots of research, it's even very hard for you to find other businesses in Nigeria that use fidgeters as an extension to their name. So, and what does that mean? It's a combination of physical and digital. Okay, so uniqueness is very important, and at the same time, the SEO benefits, the search engine optimization. For search engine optimization, if you are creating a website on copywriting, you might just call it copywritingschool.com. You know that when people search for copywriting, that will come up. So that's very important too. And then you need to consider legal considerations that the name you are using is not violating any law. Okay, there are some names you want to create that will not be approved. If it is like, for example, I now say uh, jasperbank.com, they might approve it and then disapprove it. It has happened before. A client wanted to develop a website and called it Clinical Brand Bank. The domain name was first approved, and after a week, it was flagged that the name, there are some certifications and licenses that has to be provided because they thought it was a bank. Well, I also experimented something in 2020. I created a website called Comedy Bank. All of us were under lockdown then, and I wanted to create something to excite people, to entertain people, and it was called Comedy Bank. It was just a pet project, and they did not ban that one anyway. So you just have to be familiar with what is the law saying, will this thing go or not. Aside from that, hosting, I already mentioned hosting to be where you have your website files. It's like the land. Okay, so we have different types of hosting. Shared hosting. Shared hostings are usually cheap, but um, on that host or that server, there can be several other people that have websites on it. So you are not the only one. But VPS, which is virtual private server, you are the only one on that kind of server. You have all the resources that you need to make use of. Then we have dedicated hosting. As they followed, that's how expensive they could be. Okay. Now, let me show to us some platforms where you can get both hosting and domain name. Okay, let's start with domain names first. The one of the leading platforms for both hosting and domain name is GoDaddy. Let me quickly open GoDaddy.com. It's a foreign hosting and domain name company. Then let me open Namecheap. This is another one that is quite prominent. Then we have Bluehost. Okay, this is GoDaddy now. Now, this is a website, and it's coincidentally a website that is about other websites. Okay, now let's look at the website layout. See the header. This is where I'm moving my mouse. Now, after the header, the next uh, container that followed it is just two, but it's appearing like one because one is longer than the other one. Okay, so we have one that is like a form where you can type the domain name you want. Then you click on this button to search for it. Then we have another small one that you can just put the details. The same is applicable to this, but the width here is quite different. Where you have an image in the background, the text and the button, and then you have another text and button. Okay, that's just to touch on what we have learned. Can you see the way the texts, the fonts and colors are blending? Somebody mentioned coffee color the other time. I think this is close to that. So what is the first feature you look out for here is where to search for domain names. So I want somebody to mention the domain name he or she would like to buy for his or her website. Let's search for it, maybe it's available or not. Who is doing that?
Yes, Grace Design
Grace Design,
Portfolio. Okay, .com.
right? Let's check gracedesign.com
Okay.
first. Because the thing about your domain name is that it should be as short as possible. Now look at something happening here. Somebody has bought the domain name. You see domain taken. But what this person did is called domain arbitrage. The person bought the domain name and kept it so that when the other person interested in getting the domain name comes for it, is going to be selling it at a very higher rate than what the person should buy it for. If I should tell you a story, myself and my partner, we had a very ugly experience around this kind of thing recently. That we had to buy a premium domain name like this for a client, and at the end of the day, the client turned out to be a scammer. So, on normal day, this particular domain name should not cost more than now. Let's add portfolio in front of it. You will see how much a domain name should cost compared to now. See this. What are you looking at here? Compared to what the person wanted to sell that one for. Can you see the difference? So, though this is a promo price, this is a promo price. This is the normal price for the domain name. But either the promo or the normal price, this is like $22. is still far better than buying the domain name for $199 that we saw earlier, or is it $119? So this is how you search for a domain name, but this is the interface for GoDaddy. Let's check how it looks like on Namecheap, another hosting company and domain management company. This is Namecheap, right? So let's search for another domain name. Uh, Let me just type curator dummy. Curator dummy. Where is it loading? It's available. So if you want to buy your domain name, you can lock it tonight, okay? We could see the way domain names are sought for and secure. So in case I want to buy this now, okay. Oh, it was Namecheap that was even showing. I didn't know it loaded eventually. I was actually on GoDaddy again searching for it. Now look at this. Look at how much GoDaddy wanted to sell it. Let's look at how much, see how much Namecheap wants to sell it. This is actually the normal price on Namecheap, even though they claim that they are giving you $2 discounts too. But this is for Namecheap. Namecheap is 11.28 dollars, $11.28. But on GoDaddy, see the promo they are doing, and they're selling it for this price. So now this is what I want us to pick from this. When you want to buy a domain name, you can deliberately go for where you get it at the cheapest price possible. Okay, it doesn't have any disadvantage really than okay, the platform might be different. But for hosting, you have to be very careful where you buy your host from. This thing I just said cost one of my clients, it's not too much, it was just 15,000 naira extra this week. He had one host that he believes he likes. He said that is where he wanted his website. No problem. Now you own your website. So we hosted the website on it. When the website was hosted, for the website to load, it might take like 3 minutes. It will just be rolling. So I told him, I said, if you are your own customer, you are not the owner of the business, you are the customer, and you want to get to the website, and you have to wait for 3 minutes before the website loads, what else? You will leave and go to other people who are selling the same thing instead of waiting for 3 minutes. So this was the website because he wanted a Nigerian host, and this is a Nigerian host, which is quite reliable. You see that their own charges are in Naira. It's called TrueHost. So you can, with your ATM card, you can make payment on this. You can even do transfer from the to a bank account and all and get it done. Okay, so now this is TrueHost. It's a Nigerian host. You can also buy your domain name from here. Okay, just like we have GoDaddy and we have Namecheap, which are foreign companies. Now, if you want to buy on any of these, maybe on Namecheap or on GoDaddy, you will need to get a dollar card to make payments. For those who will get to the advanced level, in case you don't know how to get a dollar card yet, I'll not only be telling you where to get it, I'll be guiding you to get it because you must get it once you join the advanced class. You must get a dollar card because there are some things you will need to buy that you cannot find on Nigerian websites. Yeah, we have touched on popular domain companies and web hosting companies. Now, when you are looking for a domain name, the first thing you must check is if it is available so that your clients will not sue you. If you already say, oh, don't worry, we build your website, at the end of the day, the person is now seeing another address different from what he gave you that he wanted. So when somebody tells you, I want my website, you ask, what domain name do you want us to use? And you quickly search for it. You saw the platforms, you saw the way I searched for them. So if it is available, you will know. If not, it will be clear. So then once you do that, you check for the extension. Is it .com, .org, .net, .biz, .online? So you have to be clear on that. And then this one is a must. If you are buying any domain name, make sure you buy privacy protection with it. If not, the email you use to sign up for that domain name will be in the public space. And when it is in the public space, hackers or spammers, they can have access to that email and they'll be sending different spam contents to you that are related to your website. So please, whenever you buy a domain name, make sure you buy the privacy protection with it. For hosting, one of the things you must look for is the uptime. What we mean by uptime is, you know, there are some websites you will get to, it will be like, okay, website down. What's the problem? Is the host. So you must ensure that the host you are going for has 99.9% uptime. That's like almost always uptime, but there's no host that will give you the guarantee of 100% uptime. Even if they tell you it's 100% uptime, you should know their line. But at least if they tell you 99% uptime, it's fine, provided they stay with that. Also, most hosts will want to tell you that. So you're the one that will do your due diligence, maybe from asking questions, those who have used the hosting platform before, and so on like that, and confirm that truly they are always up. And then the next thing you must check is the customer support. Like Namecheap, for example, now, if you want to speak with their customer support and we chat them now, in the next 10 minutes, we're going to get a feedback. But most of the Nigerian hosting companies don't have that feature. Then another thing you should look at is scalability. The hosting platform you bought, do they have packages that can be scaled? Let me show you what that means. Now look at this. This is hosting, right? Let me pick cPanel hosting. Now, these guys are telling you to go easy on your pocket. Now they have created different packages. Now look at the features here. We have silver, bronze, gold. Now let's start with bronze. Look at what we have on bronze. See the amount. So if you want to have this hosting subscription for a month, you just have to pay 361 naira. You see, it's that cheap. It's very cheap. So if you say 361 naira times 3 months, you can actually do 3 months subscription. So with almost 1,000 naira or a few changes on top of it, you can get an hosting account with them. But then this is where the challenge is. You will just have 1 GB disk space, and then all these other things are quite limited. You can only have one email account associated with it, one FTP account, you have your own cPanel, blah blah blah. Now, but look at the difference from bronze to silver. This one has 30 gig disk space, when this one has 1 gig disk space. You see the difference? So for some of us on this training, if you get to the advanced level, I'll be asking you to get a hosting account at least for 3 months, and then you buy a domain name. There's a domain name you can buy that is actually less than, you saw one now, $0.19, right? So you can go for that. I hope that will not come with a precondition that you must use their hosts. So if you get this kind of host, for example, there's a domain name you can buy for it. Let me click on this and show to us. Let's just pretend as if you want to buy this host now. I clicked on selecting it already. Okay, it's asking me if I want to register a new domain. So I would say yes. Let me call it Jasper no code. But then if I want to buy something cheap, if I pick .com, it may be asking me to pay maybe 20,000 or 15,000 or thereabout. I don't know what the exact amount will be now, but now let me pick .com.ng. This extension makes a lot of difference. It's something very cheap. Let's confirm that. You see, can you see the amount there? Just for 2,100, you will get your domain name, and don't forget for the hosting. So with 3,000 naira, you can actually get something to host your website for 3 months. Now, I'm telling us this as developers. You get my point. I'm not telling us this as clients. If you want to charge your clients, don't go and tell them bring 3,000 naira. Okay. Now, see the difference. This .com.ng is 2,100. .com is 12,000. If you are buying it tonight, .ng alone is 75. .africa is 9,000. .net is 30,000. Then .shop is 60,000. So you are the one, see how extensions make difference. Even when it is the name, the same domain name, it's just the extension that is different. Okay, so let's assume we want to buy .com.ng. This is 2001 plus roughly 1000, everything like 4000. You have your domain name and your hosting, and then you can now build whatever you want to build on. With what you've seen now, I know if you are to buy a domain name and hosting package, you know how to go about it, right? But for cPanel, we will look at that in our next class.